you. Hello. I just returned home from visiting my Aunt Ida in Miami Beach. She had a tumor on her ovary. The tumor was benign. It was the trip that was malignant. New York City, born and raised, suckled at birth on the pap of Vogue magazine. My Aunt Ida, at 90 years old, has red hair so red, you could hold a marshmallow up to it for 3 minutes flat and call that camping. So appearance obsessed, she's had facelift, brow lifts, breast lifts, this augmentation, that blubber sucked out of her rear end and syringed into her lips operation. One night, I stood watching her examining her face in the mirror. She's like, "What is this? I'm wrinkled like a prune." She grabbed a hunk of cheek, manipulated the flesh up and down as though inquiring whether the skin would unwrinkle on release. It didn't. "What is this?" I was just about to sing, "Younger than springtime are you," when I noticed the edges of her lips pulled up. Was she smiling? Was my Aunt Ida celebrating, not denigrating her decrepit face? Aunt Ida's soul has evolved, I thought. She finally understands that her attempt to look like arm candy at 90 years old is ridiculous, absurd. That the disfigured mask of sagging flesh she now wears above her flaccid neck is not a despicable wart, but a medallion of the highest, creviced honor. And Ida, those crow's feet, those wrinkles, they're beautiful. It means you're wise. Gertrude, it's Ida Lewinsky. I'm calling for a touch-up. Is the doctor available? Tuesday? Perfect. Once home, I got to thinking about my Aunt Ida's life, how she'd spent the whole of it serving Madison Avenue's conception of the beautiful. Facelifts, brow lifts, breast lifts. She even had her teeth replaced. She had the good enamel ground down to pointy stumps and covered over with veneers in order to achieve the perfect smile. In short, she destroyed the still workable to gain the supposedly beautiful in pursuit of the reprehensible. Reprehensible? In order to increase her market value, my Aunt Ida underwent multiple invasive surgeries, and she never once stopped to consider doing surgery on her personality by way of examining her life. Jesus. She's a stereotype, my aunt. She's a cliche, a shopaholic, a sucker to the system. But what has all this to do with the TEDx theme of today, the hidden superheroes amongst us? Can you hear me, by the way? We good? My Aunt Ida is today a very sad, very bitter, very lonely, very lost human being. She has absolutely no inner resources, and she has no idea who she is or why she exists. She feels inside her body the words that tell her, why bother living? But she will not bring these words to consciousness, because were she to do this, she would have to examine her life. Hers had been an unexamined life. She spent most of her time parading her body about, shopping voraciously, and gossiping. Why? Because in her day, in her neighborhood, her culture told her that this is how females were supposed to live. So in mindlessly following the orders of the cultural dictate, my Aunt Ida found herself very detached from herself, very in touch with herself, her thoughts, her dreams, her gut, her internal compass. Today, she has no idea why she feels so dead inside. And in an attempt to feel alive, she enacts the same strategy she did at 20 years old today. She tries to be pretty in order to secure some kind of temporary power over men's lust. But what has this to do with the TEDx theme, these superheroes among us? I'm here to talk about what I'm seeing going on with the young people I teach. I'm seeing young people living not according to some inner compass or inner standard of their own, but living like my Aunt Ida, as cliched, stereotypical suckers to the system, chained and shackled to the culture's dictates. What dictates? Keep up. Keep up! Keep up with Google, keep up with social media, keep up with the technologies, entertainments, and designs of others. Keep up, keep up, keep up, keep up, keep up, keep up. And in the process, lose yourself. Lose your sense of life. Lose your inner feeling of aliveness. All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces, bright and early for their daily races, going nowhere, going nowhere. I need to stop here and tell you a little bit about me. I am not a real casual kind of person. When I come into contact with life of any sort, I need to engage the essence. I cleave the orange to extract the sweetness. I crack the book to extract the wisdom. I split hairs to extract the truth. And when I encounter human beings, I ask essential questions to discover what's alive in them. Being casual with a human being is to me like licking the skin of an apple without biting through. A person is an apple, and I seek to know the core. I thought when I left home, when I left the Aunt Ida culture of my childhood, I thought I would meet an abundance of people who were core-oriented, mindful, self-evaluative, self-explorative, self-activating, vibrant, alive inside. Instead, I met this abundance of people who were surface-oriented, mindless, imitative, self-ignoring, dead inside. And I find it hard to tell you because I find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very mad world. But what has all this to do with the TEDx theme of today, the superheroes, the hidden superheroes among us? Well, as I say, I cleave the orange to extract the sweetness. I crack the book to extract the wisdom. I split hairs to extract the truth. And when in the company of human beings, I ask essential questions in order to discover what's alive in them. This what's aliveness, I seek this what's alive in them because I believe that this aliveness, this human core, is the super energetic, supercharged, super wise, super original, super hero in all of us. And I tell you that this aliveness, you were born with this. And I think you have a duty a duty to seek it out, to explore it, to cherish it, to find it, to bring it to fruition. Everybody rejoice, because there's a reason to rejoice, you see. Now, how to find this aliveness in ourselves, how to do that? Well, I want to talk about that in 2 seconds, and it's very easy, but first I want to say this is what dead looks like. I have many students who are apathetic, indifferent, they're bored. They're bored not just about what we're doing in class and with me, but they bore themselves. They are risk-averse. They are afraid. I ask them to write a story in class, and they summarize a movie plot. I ask them to think about perhaps a scenario or a subject, and they can't do it. I have many students, many meaning 10%, who come to me and they say they don't think that life is worth living, life is dreary, life is boring, there's nothing in it for them. I had one student just the other day, just yesterday, who came up to me gloating that she had just gotten done bullying a peer. Why did you bully the girl, I asked. Because it was something worth doing, she said. Define worth doing, I said. Worth doing to this girl meant hurting somebody. And I find it hard to tell you because I find it hard to take. So how do we get back to this aliveness in ourselves? How do we get back to the superhero inside of ourselves? It's very easy. Return to play. P-L-A-Y, play. Build a garden, climb a tree, dig a hole, knit, write a movie script and perform in it yourself, be the star of the movie script. Maybe you should write a computer game, do things yourself. What is there else to do? Millions of things, and I can't remember them right now, but what is play? Play is freedom from micromanagement and expert supervision. How do you know you're inside the spirit of play? It's when you don't want to hurt anybody and when you're completely engaged in the activity. For instance, do you remember, turn off your cell phone, do you remember the day when you were young? I was about 5 years old in those days when your parents or somebody took you to the first candy store of your life. You're like, hope and light and possibility. Ballard's butterscotch bars and big barrels. Monster tubs you can dive into. Schweitzer's licorice whips wrapped in spirals around cornstalk tall metal pipes. Mammoth pretzels dipped in Hershey's dark chocolate. Sold out of huge copper buckets. Mickey Mouse balloon sidewalk chalk cat's eye marbles. The place had everything. Balsa wood, BB bullets, paddleballs, pop guns, comic books, and snakes. Those centimeter round charcoal cylinders. You put it on the sidewalk, you light it up at the top. Remember those days? Remember how you felt something? Remember when you were alive inside? You guys, return to play. Play revivifies the spirit. Play jump-starts the desire to live. Return to play. Return to your aliveness. Return to the superhero inside you. Core matters. Thank you.